if you only rely on motivation, you're going to be relying on your feelings, because motivation comes and goes. If you don't feel like it, you don't do it, and then you need to be motivated again. And this is why people get hooked to motivational podcasts and motivational speakers, because it gets them pumped up and gets them excited again. And it's kind of like a roller coaster ride. So instead of just waiting to be motivated to do something, you have to be like convicted. The conviction with something kind of trumps the motivation of it, because the conviction turns into a discipline. It's like you're going to do it regardless of how you feel. Now, this isn't with obviously every single thing. There's going to be times in your life where you're going to pull back, or you're going to allow your body to rest. Maybe you're pushing yourself too hard in some areas. But in general, when you have such a deep, profound purpose, and when you have that conviction that you know this is what I have to do, this is the race that God has for me to run, that purpose and that vision and that conviction produce a consistent stream of motivation. It's like it's a never-ending kind of stream where you're doing it regardless. There's a flow happening, so that when things aren't being stagnant anymore like they used to. Things get stagnant when it stops flowing, when there's disorder, when there's chaos and there's a kink in the hose, when there's clutter in the mind and clutter in the home, and there's chaos and confusion. That's when things get stuck, and then your environment starts to feel stuck, smell stuck, your look starts to get stuck, everything in life just starts to feel stuck, and then you're like, I don't know what direction to go in. If you're feeling that, use that time to say, well, what do I need to eliminate? Instead of creating more goals and more lists of to-dos, look at what you can eliminate and pull away. You have to remove some things that aren't working first. You have to unclog and unstick things. You have to cut some dead branches off, maybe make some space for the good that you desire, for what you're trying to do. Allow some breathing room. This is why I always advise for people to declutter and purge before they organize. You have to declutter, purge, let go of, and then organize what you're going to keep. You're pruning. You are getting things in order, and you're using the process of elimination, which is really, really one of the strongest tools in your toolbox, because it allows you to think clear. It's, you're letting go of the lower things so you can bring in the higher things. With your things, with the belongings in your home, don't just cram more and more in and suffocate the house and add more stuff, more clothes. You have to first let go, because there's no like line of demarcation when it comes to what you love and what you don't love. It all is just blending together, and you want to make sure that your home and your life and everything is telling that story. It's got a message in it. It's clear. This is who I am. This is what I like. When you walk into somebody's home and they have just chaos everywhere, drawers packed, that these are, and they're also talking about all of their problems in their life, and they're this, and they can't get control, and they can't get this. It's a behavioral pattern. It's a habit. It's behavioral issues more than just some one thing happened to me. I'm not saying that's all the time, all the case, but normally the patterns and habits of that person manifest themselves in their space, in their home, in their closets, in their car, in their life, in the situations around them. And so trying to gain some type of control, some type of order is going to help you think clear. It's going to give you a sense of clarity. Even if you tackle just one closet, I know I've said this before, but tackling just a closet or a room, or cleaning the bathroom, or getting some clothes in order, maybe cutting your clothes down, removing 25% of what you don't wear, you're going to feel better, because when you let go of what you don't really love, you're left with what you do love. And usually we wear the same things over and over, like the same 10 items. When you have 100 items, now keep the special things that you might wear to a party or something if you do that kind of stuff. But just to have 50 black long sleeve shirts is really unnecessary. And so giving yourself some space for your hangers to move when you go in the closet and things can move around, is probably going to help your mind, your nervous system. It's going to help more areas than you think. And if you downsize and simplify, then you will be required to let more stuff go, and then it can be a little bit challenging. So for example, my family downsized and simplified about 6 months ago temporarily to get life in order. You have to be willing to pull back to then get things in order to move forward. But with that comes challenges with space, especially with kids. And so for me, it is a constant struggle because I do like an orderly home, but I don't want to be super strict, like, oh, you can't have your stuff there, you can't do this, or so I have to be really careful on what I store so the kids have room for their stuff. So I've had to let some of things that I love go, extra pillows and blankets and stuff. Most things are replaceable. You can replace those things in the future. If it's under $30 and easily accessible and it's just taking up space and you don't use it you don't use it within 6 months, let it go. You can replace those things. If it's something of value or it's a vintage piece or it's something that really means something to you, then have one area or use the container method where those things go in a specific container, and if it doesn't fit in that container, then it's got to go. So my problem is going to be my Christmas ornaments because I don't want them to break, so I wrap them and I put them in these bins, and then I put the bins in the closet, and I've transitioned to fabric bins because I was getting sick of the Tupperware, kind of tub look. Wasn't as aesthetically pleasing, but they take up space, and so I'll have like 10 bins of just ornaments, and it'll say like sweaters. Well, it's ornaments, but I don't want to replace those every year because some of those things can get expensive, and I do put up multiple trees for Christmas. So you just have to do what works with you. If you throw parties and you're keeping party supplies, find some bins to put those in. It's really the miscellaneous, like the leftover, the accessories, like think in terms of like cords, old papers, old books, maybe kids artwork that you got tons of kids artwork, clothes that don't fit, old picture frames, like getting rid of a ton of picture frames helps clear up space. Old photo albums, maybe streamlining the photos that you're keeping. Clothes that are out of season that you don't wear. Maybe you used to ski and you haven't gone in 5 years. Chances are you're probably not going to go. So just really being mindful is going to help give you some clarity. So think in terms of letting go of what you don't love. You'll be left with what you love. And if you're uncertain about it, just set it aside and then go through that same space again. Keep going through that same space until you feel liberated, that you can finally breathe and there's room to think, to live, to grow, and to really become better. It's about developing and growing and just allowing ourselves to come up to a different level. Your journey can really bless other people because as you are getting rid of things, you can use that to bless people who maybe don't have a lot, or someone who's just starting out, a single mom, someone who can't afford baby clothes and you're hanging on to them because they're sentimental even though your kid's 15 years old, but you still have baby clothes. So things like that can be rotated and used to bless nonprofit organizations, people in your community. There's a ton of people in need, and even getting connected with local churches, which, I'm kind of on some churches because I do feel like, a lot of churches put the money in like big events or tithing to a speaker that comes out there, or put it back into their business. And really, they should be putting it into the community. The people in the church, the people who are tithing, they should be putting the money back into those people. There should be funds for their own community, their own neighbors, food banks, clothing, places where women or men can come in and get some nice clothes. It should go back into the people who are volunteering. Not in, here's a big spectacular Christmas show for everybody to come and see. Unless that show produces quite a bit and then that money goes back into the community. But if they're taking that show, if they're selling tickets for that big show, that costs a lot to put on, right? And then they're selling tickets and that pays for the show just for entertainment, just to say, look what we did. It really defeats the whole purpose of being the hands and feet of Jesus. Like, the church should be the number one place. So anyways, you could get locked in, or you could find a church that really does bless those in the community. And that's what it's all about. It's about making a difference in your sphere of influence, in your community, with the people around you, whoever you're connected with, and using what you might have a lot of to help somebody else. Just don't get taken advantage of, ask God to lead you to someone who really needs help. The single moms, families are struggling all the time. Even not a single mom, could be a 2-parent family and they're struggling or going through a hard time. It doesn't always look like, oh, that person's really in need. Sometimes they're hiding it because they're too ashamed to say it. And when we went through a difficult time, we didn't share it with too many people because it was like, oh, you're embarrassed about it. But it happens to everybody. Your businesses could fail, or the spouse gets sick, or there's medical bills or something. Anyways, you could use your extras to bless and make a difference. The point of the story is, don't get stuck. You gotta find some way to unstick yourself, to make things flow again. And the easiest way would be start pulling at those strings, like start removing things. If you're overwhelmed with money and debt, start removing subscriptions, little things. Those little things add up. So you're paying for an Amazon or Netflix, we use Amazon because I use it for grocery delivery and for some things. But Netflix subscriptions, I don't have anything I only use what I use. Don't just get things and then you forget about it. And then you're like, I'm forced to use this. That's how I felt with medical insurance, where I was like, man, we're paying so much to have this insurance. And then it was cheaper to pay to be a cash client. And then I felt obligated, like, man, something has to happen so I can get my money's worth out of what we're paying. And something did happen. My husband got cancer a few years ago, and then we used it. So, and it did cover some, but you get what I'm saying. When you have something and you're paying for it, it's one of those things that it's money going out. And so if there are things that you can kind of gain control over and say, I don't need to do this, I don't need to do my nails, I don't need to do my hair. Like my hair, this is something that I've stopped, you could see, because it's expensive. I used to go every 6 weeks, but not only did it fry my hair, it was $250 every time I went. Well, that's a lot of money. So I had stopped, gave my hair a break. I only go every 6 months now. I'm allowing it, like 4 to 6 months. I'm allowing it to grow. Grays are coming out. It is what it is. But it's healthier, it's fuller, it's growing, and it's saving us quite a bit of money. And it's just one of those things that, you can eliminate or put to the side if you need to get some things in order. It's not forever, but get some things in order. And then you're not like just you're not trying to shove everything around. Like, let me make this $100 work for all of this stuff. No, you have to pull something out. If there's something that you're used to buying at the grocery store, or you're stopping at Starbucks every day and it's $7, $10, $15, stop doing that for a while. Make your coffee at home. Find a more inexpensive way to do it. Again, this has to do with budgeting or, trying to pay off debt. You just have to look for an avenue that you can immediately implement to give yourself some reprieve, unstick stuff, make some movement, because then you're going to start building momentum in the direction that you want to go instead of having the momentum work against you. And you're going to feel better, and things will start moving, whether it's one thing at a time, one elimination at a time, one, payment's gone, one less thing, the closet, there's 25% of the clothes are gone. Now your stuff moves. Now you're wearing things that you never used to wear. Now you're feeling better. Now you're showing up more. Now because you're showing up more, clients are paying you more, because you're feeling better about yourself. So it all kind of goes together, And do I feel better when my hair is done? Absolutely. We all feel more fresh when we went to the spa or had our nails done. But I'm willing to sacrifice those things for a bigger cause for my whole family than me saying, well, I need to get this done because it makes me feel better. My identity cannot be wrapped up in whether my hair's done or not, and neither should yours, or whether you got your Botox today, or whether you got your nails done. Your identity needs to be rooted and grounded in Christ and be who He says you are, regardless of all of that stuff. Those are just perks. Those are just things that you know, you can do. But anyways, that's it.